Check, 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 check one, check two. Check, 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 it's coming through. Did plan to do this in the evening, and because it's a bit more peaceful, it's a bit more quiet. Um, but then it's fairly quiet very often around here. It really is. I am gonna do the usual walk down by the harbour, the usual circuit. I'm just going to take a little bit of a jaunt in the other direction first and have a look at the sea and the waves crashing there. Got that song in my head, you know. Raindrops on roses, whiskers on kittens. I just can't get you out of my head. Can't get it out of my head. I really can't. Right copper kettles, raw woolen mittens. Yeah, okay. Yep. Crossing over the old station. I reckon this is where the train used to pull in long time ago and let off the passengers who wanted to go to the beach. It's a shame all those railway lines were ripped up, because it really did provide a lifeline to the northeast of Scotland. Provided infrastructure and industry, and transport networks are kind of vital for any form and any kind of human development, really. And think about the businesses. And think about the families that took trips, and the kids who looked forward to going to the beach. And now people don't, because all their entertainment is in the city. Yeah, gotta keep everybody enclosed in a 1 kilometer square area. Well, not everybody, of course. I'm just saying that cities tend to keep people in the city, really, with all the things going on there. And I guess why not too? I guess why not? Hey, it's Walks and Talks. Walks with Wolfie, right? It's me and my alter ego here. It's me and my other side. We've all got another side. Thoughts we keep to ourselves. Things we don't say. It's semi-high tide. Somebody walking down the beach with a dog. I'm wondering how they got there, because there's no bridge over to this part of the beach. That's a bit of a mystery. It's a long walk the other way. Why not, though? Get yourself out. Get yourself some exercise. Look at that. This family just arrived down at the park by the beach, and the mother gets the bike out of the back of the van for the kids. Super. It's the way it should be. Hopefully, I got this old mic that I'm using with a big sort of wind protector muffler thing on the end of it. So hopefully the wind's not going to have too much of an effect. If it's not too strong, that is. Hopefully you'll be able to hear me. Now, as usual, these are just rambles and streams of consciousness and ideas, philosophies, thoughts, things racing through my mind that otherwise would disappear if I didn't try to capture them in some way. Is there any point to capturing them? Is it going to go anywhere? I don't really think so. Um, there's this idea that you might have something that you think about or talk about that you want to go back to, I suppose. Um, there's also that future element as well, where sort of in a year or maybe a little bit beyond that, you you can look back and you can see where you were sort of psychologically, where you were mentally, what you were thinking, how you were dealing with life and enjoying the things or enjoying the problem, enjoying the problems. Yeah, enjoying the problems. Why not enjoy the problems? Just walking through the kids' park now. There's a little climbing frame. The rope kind of. It's like a huge complex of geometrical spiders' webs. That's probably hard to imagine, but you can climb. I'm just going up to the top of it. You can climb right up to the top. Used to do this with the kids all the time and watch the sea. If you're lucky on a good day, you might see some dolphins out there, or maybe some seals, or the odd otter, or birds diving for fish. I remember one of the very first pictures, because I take a lot of pictures with my camera. One of the very first pictures that I ever took was of the top of this rope-based climbing frame. It looks like a star from the top, actually. It was right this pole that goes right up to the top. It's got a nice rounded, smooth top part on it, and where the ropes cross over. And I just thought it was a neat, smart design. It was one of the first pictures that I took. I don't know why that's important. It's obviously not important at all, because the subject that popped into my head yesterday that might be worth thinking about is girls. I thought I'd talk about girls, right? Life needs all the G's. God, gold, guts, guns, and girls, of course. So I thought I'd flip back through the pages of the Book of Life and give you some insight. Who is the you in the conversation? Yes, but who are you talking to? I remember. I'm gonna get to the girls thing. Ooh, a strong smell of fish coming up from the harbour there. I'll get to the. Do you want me to get to the girls thing first? There's so much stuff racing through my head. I'm not sure which element or topic to jump into first. Shall we just go into the girls? I might come back to the other topic. There was something else that I wanted to share first. There's a wall. There's a wall down here by the sea. You can, and most people just walk past the wall. But if you climb over it, there's a ledge on the other side. And if it's a warm morning, you can catch the sun as the sun comes up. It's amazingly beautiful. Also, if it's a rough day, the waves crash into the wall and splash right over the top, which is exciting if you're a kid. Right. Girls, huh? What is the role of the other side? You know, when you're young, when you're a boy to a certain extent, girls seem a bit of a mystery, and when you're a girl, boys seem a bit of a mystery. We're all human, we're all conscious, but we're different there. Like, I was an only child, so I don't know what it means to have a brother or sister. I'm not sure what it means, like growing up next to a brother or sister. I imagine it's fun. A lot of stuff you can share, a lot of stuff you can learn. So, having 3 kids myself, I've sort of seen how they interact, and I've learned from those interactions. So I've got a little bit of an insight now, but growing up, I had no idea, right? Absolutely none what it was like to have a brother or a sister. Well, it looks like some kind of new boat's been parked here on the edge of the quay. Doesn't look like it's very safely perched on a couple of blocks of wood and a big piece of stone there. So yeah, girls were a mystery, and it was sort of inevitable that you were going to reach that point at some point where, as a boy, you were going to become interested in the girls. That occurred for me, I guess, age 14, 15, sometime around then. It didn't really occur much, because girls were, when I was at primary school, girls were like, a girl touched me. A girl tried to kiss me, because we used to play kiss, cuddle, and torture in school. What a great game! Kiss, cuddle, or torture. So either the girls would chase the boys, or the boys would chase the girls. And so if the boys were being chased by the girls, or if it was a boy, if I got caught by a girl, they would say kiss, cuddle, or torture. And because of this sort of mindset that we'd grown up in primary school, a lot of us, not all of us, but a lot of us, you never wanted to kiss a girl, you never wanted to cuddle a girl, so you'd always choose torture, which would be the girl kneeing you. You'd turn around and she would knee you several times on the backside. There was probably a more torturous version where she kneed you on the front side. I don't remember much about that, but I'll probably block that out. But it's funny though, because we train ourselves to run away from the girls. It would flip at a certain point later in life where you would train yourself to be chasing all the girls. But it's funny how you would not want to be caught by them, when obviously being caught by them was much more fun. Of course, some of the kids had figured it out themselves, right? They were young, and for whatever reason, they'd figured out, I want to get caught, right? And I want to get caught by her, and I want to get caught by him. And it was funny how that would play out. Oh no, you caught me. How terrible. Kiss, cuddle, or torture. Kiss, maybe. And you would have your fun. Well, here we are. You'd have your fun at lunchtime or the break. Here we are at the end of the pier. One of the ends of the pier. There's a lot of ends of the pier. It's all over the place. I wonder if this... It's hard to tell from sort of the earthly level view. I wonder if there's a sort of starfort system design here or not. Oh! The fighter jets are back overhead. That's a pretty unusual line that they've taken today. Okay. So yeah, we'd be playing around at school. We'd be chased by the girls. We'd play kiss, cuddle, or torture, and we'd never want to kiss or cuddle the girl. It's kind of crazy because some of the girls were very nice. Some of the girls were very pretty, for sure. I don't know at which point that game ended. It definitely didn't continue through to the secondary school grammar school, academy school level. could you could you imagine the chaos of 15 to 17 year olds just running around playing that game? Oh, not a good idea. So remember, school is for work. School is not for socializing. You know, head down, finish the test. No copying, no sharing. Because that would be terrible if you shared with people, right? Absolutely terrible. So, that's one experience that comes to mind from primary school. Are there any others? There was a girl who had social problems. She wasn't in our school for very long. I remember she used to chase the boys a lot, all the time, even when we weren't playing that game. That's bizarre how we remembered that. I remember there was the safety of the outdoor toilets, right? Where the boys' toilet was a safe place for the boys and the girls' toilet was a safe place for the girls. I remember running in there one day to escape this crazy girl. And she ran straight in after me. It was me running in there thinking, I'm perfectly safe now, she won't come in. She ran straight in. That was an early lesson in the fact that not everybody follows the same set of rules in life, I suppose. I don't really remember too many more experiences from that time with how it was in terms of relationships with girls. I guess some were friendly, others were not. I remember I didn't make it to primary 7. Primary 7 was the last year of primary. And for some reason, the school that I was in had a special class called Primary 6-7, which was for pupils who should be in Primary 7, but the school thought it would be better if they mixed with Primary 6 for whatever reason. Maybe they were too distracted in Primary 7, or maybe the teachers thought the courses might be too difficult for them. I'm not sure. It's probably some weird kind of social experiment. So I remember that because we sort of had a table in the middle of the room. Us 6-7ers who never made it to class 7. Bizarre. And then off to secondary school. Eventually, we went when it was time. Right, you finish primary, you go off to secondary, and that was certainly interesting because the secondary school would integrate several of the primary schools, so you'd have a whole new collection of kids all coming together. It was also interesting because you'd sort of work your way up to primary 7, and you were right at the top of the mountain or pyramid or whatever. And then boom, you go straight back to the bottom and be in the first class of the secondary school. But girls, I don't remember exactly when girls came on the radar. Maybe they were always on the radar to a certain extent, and there would be some gradual sort of creeping up of interests. There would be your first. No, there would be your friends who had girlfriends, right? They would that would sort of be the first experience. You'd know somebody who had a boyfriend or girlfriend, and you would observe their relationships and see what they did and what they thought and how they communicated and how they hung out with each other. And I guess you'd be observing people. I remember there was a woods near the school, and if a guy and a girl liked each other, they would go for a little walk through the woodland path. Naturally, they'd stop at a certain point near near a near a tree, I suppose, and I guess they did kiss or cuddle or do their thing, um, which was the adventurous element. And you'd be waiting back at school for your friend to come back, and you'd be like, whoa, what happened? Did anything happen? How was it? Tell us. And that would be sort of the first kind of experience. Anyway, girls I liked. Me not being a fussy person. Ooh, bit of a wind blowing now. Bit of a wind. So me not being a fussy person, I was like, whatever. I think I was a bit shy, really. I think that I was probably quiet and didn't communicate to too many people about likes and dislikes and interests. Kept my head down, did the work, followed the rules. But for sure, at some point there was a girl called Stephanie. I guess the first girls that you find yourself attracted to, they sort of kind of have a special place in your life in some way. And so what would happen is that we would be in certain classes together, and we would look at each other and smile. It was a very classical sort of semi, it's kind of romantic thing, I suppose, where you would just know that she liked, I would know that she liked me, smile, nice, and I liked her, and we'd have polite chats about school type things. I remember this talk by Henry Rollins that I listened to once, where he talks about the kinds of conversations that people have when they're in school. And see, here's the thing that bothers me. It's like doing this during the day, is that there's probably a tendency for everyone to go a little bit. There's just go around these people. There's a fear that everyone's going to think I'm mad if I'm walking around with a microphone talking to myself. I guess they might think that I might be, but as I suggested earlier, there's deeper reasons for recording all the important elements of past events to ourselves. So yeah, we liked each other. We spent quite a bit of time talking and chatting. And then one day, how old was I? Like 14, 15? I think this happened. I think we liked each other for like maybe, for some crazy period of time, like maybe a year or something. And what is it when you like a person, what is it that you like about them, right? Do you like what they like? Do you like them for what they think? Do you like them for what they're able to do? Do you like them for their style, appearance, and fashionability. Is that a word? Fashionability. Do you admire their skills in classes or in sports? What is it? I don't know. And there's something about the nature of people that you can just, once you've been around the world a couple of times, you can look at a person and you can see deep into who they are. You learn to sense people. There's a depth to their language. There's a wisdom in their smile. There's a light in their eyes, and you know if a person's good or bad. Yes, you need to be able to collect data and understand the congruence of a person not being a hypocrite. You need to see where people keep their promises, and you need to understand the objective truth around what they say. Always bugs me when someone says the truth is somewhere in the middle. I don't know about that, right? I'm not convinced that the truth is always somewhere in the middle. What if you've got a situation where one person is just outright lying, the other person is just outright telling the truth? I mean, that's just surely in that kind of situation to believe the truth is somewhere in the middle is to miss the whole point completely. Yeah, and I know it's hard for people to think that way, because I think the easiest way to respond to everything is, there's three truths: yours, mine, and the truth. Where it's just, the truth is just a mix of what people say. Well, it's not. If you want to be a scientist, right, and look at things, you can have a theory, and that's fine. But you can't run your science experiments based on, the truth is, we've got these results, but the truth is somewhere in between the results we have and the results we don't have. No, you got to work with what you know and where you go and what you got. Now, I'm going down the other end of the pier right now. I've walked around the harbour, and so I've now got the sea on both sides of me, and there's this long stone-walled, some concrete layered, what is it? This is like a road to the end of the harbour. It's not a road, cars don't drive on it. It's just stones all cobbled together. It's a great piece of engineering, actually. Yes, the truth. You can see the truth in a person's face, in a person's eyes, in a person's smile. You can you get to know it. You get to sense it in a person. You get feelings about. I've said many times recently. I said you got to trust your gut. Your gut tells you what is going to happen. Your gut knows. There's some instinct inhumans way beyond what we can rationally process. Call it what you want, call it the God vibe or something like that, where you just tune in to something else. You just tune in to something different. You're able to know. You're able to know which way to go. You're able to know which button to press. You're able to know. You've just been in so many situations in life that you're able to just automatically within yourself piece together all the pieces of the grand puzzle created by the universal architect. So I would look at this girl, she would look at me, and we knew. And I'm pretty sure I've talked about this at some point previously, but the world forgets, right? It doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. What does it matter? It doesn't matter. So much doesn't matter. And let's get the other sides. The details matter. I get it. Yeah. You got to parse those moments. You got to be able to parse that moment. Understand when there are times when everything matters, and there are times when it doesn't matter at all, and you got to let it go. And a lot of problems that are created in life. I'm going up these steps, these long steps here. A lot of problems that are created in life are created because we think that what matters doesn't matter, and we think what doesn't matter matters. There we go, there's half the world's problems in a sentence. So I'm right now at the end of the pier. Posted a video yesterday morning, with a little walk up to the end of the pier on a really sunny day. It's quite beautiful. So anyway, it's about people and experiences in life and what those experiences teach us. So do we ever learn anything? I don't know. We're human beings. We are, as a culture, a world, society, prone to the tragedy of history, which is continually cocking up the same stuff over and over again. It registered in my brain the other day. I was thinking about doing like solo podcasts and talking to Wolfie, talking to myself, and it popped into my head some of the phrases that my dad used recently. It's amazing how much of your parents' vocabulary comes back around to you. It's absolutely amazing. The words and the phrases and the phraseology and the actions and reactions, they all get picked up and imitated by the kids, and then they've got them forever. I've seen the way that people look at people they get from their parents, the way they move their hands they get from their parents, the pose that they stand in, their demeanor, their reactions. Pick them all up from observing the parents. The parents are, meanwhile, the parents are just spend most of their time scurrying around like rats on a sinking ship trying to get everything done, and there's never enough time. Never enough time. And yet time is all we have. It's all we have. We don't get any extra time. We just get the time that we have. And people are going to try to want to take that away from you. Wherever you are, wherever you are, when you're listening to this, think about that. People are going to try and take your time away from you, and that's the worst thing that's possible. They can steal your money, steal your car, steal your house, steal your friends, steal your business. Fair enough. Right? Love and war. But when people steal your time, you know, that shit you don't get back, right? It's very precious and very limited. That's why you have to enjoy every single moment and yet still prepare for what is coming. Can't live too much in the past, can't live only in the present. We do live only in the present, but what I'm saying is you can't live without a plan of some kind. You know, you got to know how you're going to pay the bills. You've got to know, you know, what you're going to eat. You got to have a food plan. You got to have a plan to keep things tidy and organized, and we all get a bit behind on ourselves sometimes. There's some big air defense security aircraft just taking off overhead. I'm happy that this country has some kind of air defense, and yet I wonder what we are defending ourselves from. Probably ourselves in the long term. Probably ourselves. I often have a thought about these boats when I walk around the harbour, that there's a lot of them and they don't seem to spend much time in the water. Most of the boats just seem to sit at the side of the quay on the harbour all the time. They seem to sit there. They seem to spend very little time in the water. What is the point of that? You want to tell me that? What is the point of having a boat and not sailing it? Maybe that's the point. Maybe not sailing it's the point. But I don't know, because I don't have a boat. And I wouldn't know what to do with one if I had one. Except put it in the water somewhere. It's the only thing I do know. Staring out across the that'll be the Moray Firth in the North Sea once again. Snow-capped peaks and hills and mountains across there. They're looking beautiful, and a little bit of afternoon sun that's on that side of the country. There's no sun here. I haven't seen the sun all day. It's just been greys and blues drifting overhead. So somehow I got onto that topic from girls. Yeah, so this girl, she to make a long story short, which I've never ever done, like Will would say, Dad, you talk a lot. Dad, is this going to go on? Are you gonna keep talking? Dad, have you finished yet? Thanks, Will. I appreciate that. So, well, yeah, she came up to me, said, "Wanna know a mystery?" No, she came and sat next. We travelled on the same bus to school and back. That's what it was. And another chance to smile at each other and walk past each other. And I want to go back to yeah. Let's take this. I'll talk about that, but I want to talk about what is it that we like in other people. I guess the word that you use when you're a teenager, the word that you use when you're young is to fancy somebody. Fancy, of course, has several different meanings, but uh, I guess fancy, like, feel attracted to. What is it that you like? There was something nice in the. Whoa! What is that noise? There's crazy noises from the industrial site on the other side of the road here. What was I talking about? Fancying. Yeah, what is? There was something in the air about you. You know what I was talking about earlier, where you know when a person's a good person, like they're not holding any jealousy or fear or hate or resentment. They're just nice. There's congruence in what they say. They do what they say they're gonna do. They're helpful. There's what's happened to those people? Do they change? Do they grow up? Do they become adults and just lose the plot? Yeah. Do they become adults and just lose the plot? They get caught up in adult thoughts and adult things, and they forget what it was like to be young, to be untainted, to be untouched by, I would guess, too much negativity or I want to say despair. Stress would be the word. Stress would be the word. You know that it's when people have to. A lot of people are not ready to leave home. That's for sure. When they have to go and fend for themselves out in the world. A lot of people are when the parents have done their jobs. The kids are. A lot of people who are not ready to do that. So the plainness, the niceness, I've always found that beautiful in people. The beauty is found not in the trying to be beautiful, but in the just trying to be yourself, right? In, on one side, not putting in zero effort or no effort, and on the other side, not trying too hard, like over trying, like trying to force things to happen or make things happen that maybe shouldn't. Square peg through the round hole example. So there was, firstly, her hair was this orangey red, which was different from anything else. It was like it was on fire, and it was quite long, down her back. I always thought that long hair looked better on girls than short hair. In general, I've seen examples where it goes the other way. So at that time, anyway, that's what I liked. She wasn't a super fit kind of person, but she didn't look overweight or unfit, I suppose. I mean, most teenagers are pretty active. Well, at least they were. Can't speak for everybody now. Got our epidemics of sedentary lifestyles and certain kinds of lethargy. When we've had it too easy. When everything is put on the plate in front of you, you need to get up and walk away. When everything you ever wanted is handed to you and no one's asking any questions, the first thing you need to do is say thank you. The second thing you need to do is say, I'm going to think about this. You need to think carefully. You need to contemplate about your responses in that kind of situation. So there was this woman who just walked past me there, and I looked up and she looked down the moment I looked up, and it was as if she was caught out for a second, so she was a bit scared to look at me. And what popped into my head was still wondering why more people don't do podcasts. Podcasts are becoming more popular in this part of the world now, especially since I kicked everybody's ass last year and shook them up a bit, and especially as people need more, people have more digital interactions now. But people are still scared to say what they think. They're still scared to say how they feel. They really feel that everything is going to be, I think, this is a thought, I think they feel that everything's going to be used against them in some way. I can't imagine quite how that would manifest itself, but there's still an idea in society and the world that if you keep your head down, don't look too much to the left, don't look too much to the right, everything's going to be okay. I'm not convinced that's the best way. I think we need to walk with our chin up and our head out, and we need all to be looking after one another. There's a bit of a main road here. You probably hear all the cars in the background. I think I'm gonna go a different way. I'm gonna double back on myself a little bit and cross over the road here. Go up this little hill. Anyway, back to a description of this girl. What else do I remember? A certain, like there's a countenance around people that I've seen. A way that people walk and talk and carry themselves is a mixture of innocence and carefreeness, and it's just nice. It's something that I haven't. I've experienced it in religious people. I've experienced in that the classical conservative woman who doesn't overemphasize things, doesn't dress too wild, doesn't shout too loud, doesn't point at herself. She has a certain level of what is it's not being self-satisfied. It's being comfortable with who she is and not trying to be a plus one, which is just trying to draw and drag attention from people. So yeah, I just when I walked up here the other night, it was evening and there was no cars on the main road. Now I've just shot up a side street to try and get away from the vehicles. There's a coal lorry. A coal lorry delivering coal, sacks of coal. There's a traditional industry, an amazing traditional industry. Sacks of coal. Wow. Keep the home fires burning. Did nothing, no warmth like a real fire. Absolutely no warmth like a real fire. Keep your electric fires and your gas fires. There's no warmth like a real fire. And the smell of the coal and the wood and everything together on it. There's nothing quite like it. It's definitely all very wild. So the wildness of the fire, the sparks. Oh my gosh, something landed on the carpet. Oh my gosh. Parents used to have those real fires. Now they've got the gas fires in their big old house. It doesn't heat it the same way. It's definitely not as warm in there as it used to be. Yeah, real fires. So she had hair like fire. Slightly freckled face. It's just nice, you know. Just nice she was. And you know, people want for too much. They have high expectations of yourself, not of others. I cannot emphasize that enough. Have high expectations of yourself, not of others. Expect too much of others, you will be inevitably disappointed. The only person you need to have expectation of is yourself. We can even have too high expectations for ourselves as well. As long as we don't crucify ourselves for that. I think it's all right, really. The sounds of the day. I don't know what that noise is. Whether it's a drill or a chainsaw or a motorbike, I can't really decide. So that was a girl, and she sat down next to me on the bus. She came and sat next to me on the bus, the school bus, and said, "You want to go out with me?" I was like, up. And I'm pretty sure I've told the story before. I was like, like the cat got my tongue. Not just the cat. The cat got my tongue. The dog got my tongue. The neighbor's camel got my tongue. I was pretty tongue-tied, right? And mental note to self. Mental note to self. I'm not gonna. Mental note to the world. You know when you come across, I just popped into my head right now. You know when you come across something a number of times and you don't pay attention the first couple of times to it, but like when it appears again, you're like, this has happened more than once. There's a number of times recently that that the Sun Tzu book, The Art of War, has appeared in the context of things that I've been doing. And something in the back of my head tells me I need to go back and read parts of that again. I read parts of it before, and I had a copy in my office. It was one of those essential books to have on the shelf. Sun Tzu, The Art of War. Where strategy matters. And I think why it popped in my head was the principle and concept of buying time. So for example, when I said I'll think about it, which was kind of a panicked answer. It's not the wrong thing to say, completely the wrong thing to say. What you say is, yes, of course I'll go out with you. There we go. But I was like, no, I wasn't ready, was I? I wasn't prepared, was I? I just wasn't ready, wasn't prepared. So a couple of times in my life I've not been ready, not been prepared. But Sun Tzu, the Art of War, it's on the essential reading list again. It's about fading into the background is an important part of the art of war. And I'm really I don't want to, I'm not going to make this a political thing. It's personal enough as it is. But that's a lot of what's going on right now. There's a lot of people pulling strings in the shadows. There's a lot of shadow puppetry going on, isn't there, Wolfie? A lot of people jumping up and down, asking for attention, saying, look at me, I'm important, look at what I'm doing. Yep, but you're not doing anything good, are you? You're not doing anything right, you're not doing anything moral, you're not doing anything ethical, are you? Up on top of the hill now, not sure how much the mic is picking up the wind. It's not too windy, just your averagely windy for around here. Sun is this. There's a bit of blue sky in front of me, but that's somewhere up north. But looking back to where the sun's setting, can't see anything. Wisps of clouds low over distant hills, and what looks to be a little bit of snow there as well. So I bought myself some time. Of course, Of course, of course. Didn't take me long to realize how stupid I was to be buying time when I could have been enjoying my time. So, uh, I like it. I like it when people walk past each other in the street like there. I like when people walk past each other in the street and they go hi. Even when they don't know each other, they go hi. I like that. I like that civility. I like that politeness. There's surfers in the distance in the sea. These are the worst waves for surfing in human history. They rise and crash. There's nothing to rest on. It's kind of in between. You want the wave to kind of roll so that you can roll with it. Hey, look, it's the coal man again. It's a small town. It's all busy all of a sudden. All very busy. So I returned to this girl. The next day or the day after that, I can't remember exactly. I don't remember where I think I told her on the bus. I said, "Do you remember that question?" She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, yes, yes on both sides. Yeah, win-win, win-win." And suddenly the world changed. I don't know if it stopped or it sped up. It just changed. Things were different. I was different. Acts and actions were different. Meanings were different. Friendships were a bit different as well, because now suddenly there was a new a new relationship at play. There was the communication between people was different. Did you had less time for your friends because you wanted to be with her naturally. You wanted to be with her whenever it was possible. I don't think we got to the point of getting together outside of the school system, because she lived in one place and I lived in another, and it seemed pretty complicated to try to get together because it was all sort of rural communities. The most practical thing was to spend time together when we were at school, which would be a break time or lunch time or something like that, where you'd catch up with somebody, you'd walk the halls together, searching for a little bit of peace and space, and you'd enjoy it. You'd love it. You'd love every moment. You'd embrace all those new sensations, those new feelings. Your eyes would be opened to a different kind of wonder. And I guess that's how I wish all human relationships could be. Some kind of wonder. It's the bells. It's the bells, Wolfie. For whom the bell tolls, time marches on. Right. So I wish they could all be like that. I wish all the relationships could be that way, giving and there being that joy that comes from them. In the last few years, there's been too much stress that I've seen in the human relationships around me. And maybe it's the world. They call it the quickening, right? The quickening. Everything just seems to get faster and faster and faster. And now suddenly, I'm back where I started. It's a parable of life, isn't it? We always end up back where we started. That is apparently unavoidable. Well, that's it, I suppose. Thank you for tuning into this walk with Wolfie. I appreciate it. Only if you listen for 10 seconds, I appreciate it. I really do. Time matters. The time we give to people, the time we give to things. It all matters. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Have yourself a great day. Thank you.